Good evening and thanks for choosing Fox 23. I'm Zach Seminar. Southern Miss women's basketball senior guard Shantae Hales has been named to the preseason all-conference team for the second straight year. Hales averaged nearly 13 points per game last season for the Golden Eagles. She netted a pair of 30-point games last season. She also ranked 8th place on the all-time Southern Miss assist leaderboard with 378 total dimes. Conference USA also releasing their preseason coaches poll. It has USM picked to finish 8th this season. After a run of the College World Series for a second consecutive year, Mississippi State baseball has announced their 2020 path to another potential World Series run. Diamond Dogs announcing that 2020 slate today. It totals 56 games, 31 of them held at Dudy Noble Field. MSU will play 30 of those contests against teams that either won regular season conference championships or made an appearance in the NCAA tournament. Bulldogs will open the year with 9 straight home games, beginning with a 3-game series against Horizon League champion Wright State. Dogs will continue with a midweek game against SoCon regular season champion Samford, and then comes a classic 3-game series with perennial national power Oregon State. That's February 21st through the 23rd in Starkville. Dogs will also see Southern Miss a March 4th meeting at Trustmark Park in Pearl. Ole Miss comes to town in mid-April, while the Dogs will play visits to 2019 World Series teams like Auburn and national champion Vanderbilt to end the season. One half of Major League Baseball's Fall Classic is set. Washington Nationals struck early and often in their Game 4 7-4 win over St. Louis last night, finishing off a sweep of the NL Central champion Redbirds. It was a series dominated by Washington pitching while the bats heated up late in the series, not allowing the Cardinals to hold a single lead throughout the entire 4-game series. Washington's Howie Kendrick was named the NLCS MVP for the Nationals, who will be making their first ever World Series appearance in the team's history. While the Nationals rest the next 6 days, it'll be a bit longer before they learn who they'll play in next week's World Series. Astros and Yankees have had their series Game 4 washed out tonight after heavy rain rolled into New York City today. Game will now be played tomorrow at 7:08. Game 5 slid back to Friday, a previously scheduled off day, with, if necessary, games 6 and 7 back in Houston Saturday and Sunday. The Stros lead the series 2-1. While the rest of the 2019 season plays out, LA Angels looking ahead to 2020. They've hired former Cubs manager Joe Maddon. 65-year-old Skip was let go by the Cubs last month after 5 seasons with the club, including a 2016 World Series championship run. Maddon began his career with the Angels in the 70s as a player and minor league coach. He'll now be tasked with turning around a team that lost 90 games last season, its most since 1999. And in her first professional golf tournament in at least 7 years, Leanne Walker played herself into the history books. While competing in the Senior LPGA Championship, Walker assessed 58 penalty strokes after her first 2 rounds of play this week in Indiana, giving her scores of 127 and 90. Now, as it turns out, Walker, unaware of a rule change that was implemented earlier this year, prohibiting caddies from lining up behind players during putts. Thankfully for Walker, she still would have missed the cut prior to her penalty strokes.